Hi everyone, it's me, Arielle, and it's Wednesday Warriors. This week I'm going to be talking about complications that can come from overexercise. I'm going to also talk a little bit about how common overexercise actually is within eating disorders, how addictive exercise can be for many people, and just want to reiterate for you that it's okay to not exercise sometimes, and you really have to learn to listen to your body and understand sometimes too that what is right and best and healthiest may be going against what you want to do. And it might be more of the eating disorder talking sometimes than your best self. So, for the last 2 weeks, I've been talking about exercise and sports in relation to eating disorders, and I've covered a lot of different things as much as I can in a brief video, but it's such an important topic because I really think that exercise in recovery is something I get asked quite a bit because there really is that fine line. And people who have eating disorders sometimes aren't sure where the healthy exercise and the over-exercise meet, and it is very easy to cross that threshold from regular exercise to over-exercise. It can actually be really easy to overexercise without realizing that you're doing it because exercise is typically thought of as a good thing. Exercise is healthy, it's good for us, it makes us feel good, we like the activity. So you sort of think, you can't really have too much of a good thing, right? But you can. You can because your body is that tool that you're using for the activity, and your body can only take so much. And exercise is great, but you need rest too. Some signs that you're exercising too much are things that are more mental than physical, like you're making exercise a priority over things that are really more important, like personal relationships. If you are constantly prioritizing and putting your exercise routine first ahead of friends or family or a significant other, or withdrawing from other situations in order to exercise, or becoming very irritable when you're not able to exercise, those are all signs that maybe you're exercising too much or you have an unhealthy relationship with exercise. It sounds a little strange because the things that I just described, people usually relate to things like drugs or alcoholism, things like that. If you're withdrawing from people so you can go drink, or you are putting alcohol or drugs or some other kind of addiction ahead of people in your life, that's also a problem. But exercise can be an addiction. There is such a thing as exercise addiction. So you really have to not call it something stupid, call it what it is, and recognize that it does happen. And as soon as you can recognize it, you're better off. If you miss important things or events because you need to exercise or want to exercise, things like school, things like work, things like special commitments that you have made a priority to do or go to or be a part of, if the reason that you're not participating in those things or you're missing those things is because of exercise, that might be another reason that, another indication that you have a problem. Something that people don't think about a lot that's a physical problem with overexercising is your autoimmune system. When you exercise a lot, what that does is it runs down your body if you don't give yourself adequate rest. If you're exercising and you're doing really good exercises and you're taking care of your body at the same time, it can be really beneficial. But if you don't allow yourself the periods of rest, it really doesn't do what you think it does. It is not always all good because the rest needs to happen too for the body to rejuvenate. So if you're exercising without giving adequate recovery and rest, then your immune system actually decreases its function and you're going to be more prone to getting sick. So if you have an eating disorder, or if you're in recovery from an eating disorder, you're already sort of compromising your immune system and you're probably more likely to become ill. But if you are overexercising on top of that, your immune system is probably going to pick up a lot of colds, the flu, all the things that you can catch pretty easily from being in public places. Another physical symptom of overexercise is amenorrhea, which most people are familiar with in regards to anorexia nervosa, because without exercise, if you're at a very, very low weight, you can lose your periods, and that's what amenorrhea is. But even if you are at a quote-unquote healthy weight and you are overexercising, you can be prone to lose your periods because of that too. And depending upon where you are in your life, if this is a priority for you to have children, while you are experiencing amenorrhea, while you are not getting your period, you're infertile, you're not able to have children, and it's a stress on your reproductive system. Though some exercise that involves impact can be good for your bones, osteoporosis is also another big problem for people who overexercise. You're at higher risk for fracturing your bones. Your bones are more brittle because you're taking all of the fuel and nutrients from them to do this exercise all the time, but you're not feeding yourself enough either. So in addition to bone injuries, you can have tissue injuries with knees, especially is something I'm thinking of where there's connective tissue. It's really something to be aware of, because you don't know that you're doing anything wrong, or you don't realize that you're overexercising sometimes until you have an injury, and then it's too late because you have a really long recovery, and then you won't be able to exercise at all. Forget just decreasing it. You won't be able to do it, and then you're going to, be really dealing with the mental stress of that while you're letting your body recover. So rather than get yourself to that position, just try to think ahead at this point and really be healthy about how much exercise you're doing. I said I wanted to talk quickly about how common overexercise can be within eating disorders. I recently just did a graduate research study where I surveyed almost 500 adult females, and when I was asking for a specific eating disorder diagnosis, I had, the more typical ones like anorexia, bulimia, EDNOS, which is eating disorder not otherwise specified, and binge eating disorder. And then I had other. And in the other category, people were able to fill in what that other was. And one of the most common responses that I got was overexercise. And, overexercising is a problem because a lot of people with eating disorders use overexercise as a form of purging. When you think of it in that context, you can really see just how unhealthy it is. When people exercise, a lot of the time it comes from a good place where they want to take care of their bodies. They want to make their bodies strong. They want to make their bodies feel good. And that's a good place. But sometimes people exercise to punish their bodies, and they might not think of it as punishment, but if you are starving yourself or if you are throwing up what you eat, and then you're using exercise as a way to go beyond what's healthy because you're not feeding yourself the way you should. You aren't taking care of your body. You're really stressing it out. You're really making it old before its time. And it's a hard sort of thing to grasp because exercise just screams good. It doesn't scream bad. It really takes awareness, just like anything. And I said in an earlier video a couple weeks back when I was talking about exercise, just like a lot of people have an exercise buddy to go to the gym with to keep them motivated, sometimes it's good for people with eating disorders or people who are in recovery to have a buddy to exercise with so that that person can tell them, like, okay, we did this for half an hour, okay, we did this for an hour, and now we're going to stop, so that you don't overdo it. And having that moral support can really be good. Okay, everyone, next week is our last week on the rotation for eating disorders and exercise, and I hope you've been finding this helpful. Hope you're having a great week out there, and I will see you next time.